Lincoln, you gonna have a nighttime scrimmage on Saturday with the heat and everything, or what are you gonna do on Saturday?
I think so. We've gone here at night the last couple of days, just kind of an adjustment for a couple of things. One, first several games are evening kickoffs, and we've had a lot of heat, a lot of humidity, and no wind. No wind, which is hard to believe, but it's been a little warm, so we've adjusted to that schedule, and it's gone well, so we've stayed with it.
Lincoln, what's your injury situation going into that game, and what's the latest on Norwood?
Yeah, Trey Norwood's got a season-ending injury. He'll miss the season. So tough injury, tough for him, tough for our team. He's such a valuable guy. Can play so many positions, great experience. Certainly we'll miss him. Not only defensively, but special teams too. As a guy that was really a jack of all trades for us. So, but that's part of this game. That's going to happen. We've had a couple already, and you've got to. That's why you recruit hard. That's why you develop hard. It's in some ways, there's probably some silver lining in the fact that it happened early enough that we're able to adjust and able to get a lot of guys reps. These things are a lot tougher if they happen during the season or right before a season opener. So it's given us time to do that, and everybody was disappointed for Trey, but Trey's anybody that knows him knows he'll handle it well and he'll come back better than ever.
Who are your options behind Trey at the nickel?
Oh, we've got a lot. We're bouncing all kinds of guys around there. Buki has done a nice job over there. We're looking at at Chance Sylvie, at Cradell, a couple other bodies there too that have done a nice job. So the way Alex and them teach our system, being able to move those guys around is easier for us than it's been in the past. It's more of I think learning the overall system, the overall scheme, and so changing those pieces in and out has not been too difficult, and the guys have handled it well.
Lincoln, what can you tell us about that injury? Obviously, you guys weren't going full contact at the time, but how super freaky?
Just kind of one of those that happened. Yeah, non-contact. Just one of those ones that you'll wonder. You've seen guys, make plays or movements like that all the time, and then sometimes they happen. And so it's more one of those. Yeah.
You mentioned Chance Sylvie. How difficult is it mentally to come back from an injury, especially an injury like his, and just be in the right frame of mind to know that you can do what you did before?
Yeah, I would say that one's one of the tougher ones mentally. I mean, they're all tough, but that one is. And I think you can do it. I think it's trusting that if I go out there and do the same things, is this going to happen again? And you can't look at it that way. This is a dangerous game. It could happen to anybody at any point, and you've got to go out there and play each play like it's your last. And so big jump from Chance when comparing him to where he was at the spring to now. Is in better shape, is more confidence, moving around, looks like the old Chance, which is a good thing. So, and he's got a great example. I mean, he's got a guy on this team that's went through two of those, so pretty good resource for him.
How's Robert Barnes moving around?
He's been fine. Yeah.
What has the competition been like at corner? How's that shaking out?
Heavy, a lot of reps. Improved play. Just you can see overall our players the players certainly that were here in spring. You can just tell it's not brand new to them now. So you just see a little more confident in the techniques and schemes, communication, and then I think the addition of some of these new young players has done nothing but help that competition. It's been good to get Woody and Jaden Davis, some of those guys in there, get them in the mix. Jordan Parker, who's done a really nice job in there as well. Good to have him back healthy, not having him in the spring. So in the spring it was, almost at some point a little bit of survival, which is not how you want to coach, but we had such limited bodies that it was a little different feel. We've got more bodies, we got more competition, guys more experience. We're just it just looks a lot different than spring right now in a positive way.
Do you have any guys that you kind of seen just kind of step up, maybe that have been in the program a little longer, or any new guys?
Yeah, we've got a few guys that I think we've got a lot that have stepped up. Marquise Hayes comes to mind. I think he's really having a strong camp so far. Been proud of the way that he's improved. He's certainly somebody up front that stands out. I think TJ Pledger's made some really nice gains. Physically is quite a bit better than what he's been. Brian Asamoah, another one, I think. Ryan Jones, a couple guys there at inside backer, I think, that have really made a jump physically and in their understanding of the system, maturity. Just a number of those guys that are growing up, you're like, all right, they're starting to see what it takes and starting to really understand that and do it on a daily basis.
RJ Proctor said that as soon as he went to the transfer portal, about 20 schools reached out to him. What was the process of getting him here, and what can he add to you guys?
Fairly normal, honestly, as far as the recruitment process. We had some ends there because we know a lot of those coaches at UVA with, you know, our history with Robert and I, and Bill's history with Robert. You know, of course, Ruffin being there before, so we got to know about him pretty quick and liked what we found out. And yeah, I would say pretty normal as far as communication on our situation and opportunities, and it fit what he was looking for, and it was I would say pretty smooth.
Lincoln, how would you evaluate week one of the quarterbacks?
They're doing well. You know, they're doing well. It's fun to watch them. They're like a lot of these positions. They're better. You know, they're quite a bit better than we were in the spring. And you know, adding Spencer into that has been fun as well. So I mean, they've Tanner, Jalen, those guys really doing a nice job. You know, they're all performing well. You know, they're gonna make it tough. Which, you know, if you've recruited and developed right, it should be. And but they happy with the progress we've made, but we got to have another great week here.
Can you illustrate for us how competitive that's been, whether through some examples you've seen on the field, guys doing extra or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, you know, three pretty hard workers. You know, they've all, that's not new to them, you know, so these guys, more importantly what they're doing now, I mean, I think it's what they did in the summer. You know, you can see just the big jumps. You can see the time that they spent away from it in the film room, the time voluntarily with our receivers throwing routes. I mean, it's just a step ahead. And so I feel like the focus right now with those guys, what you worry about maybe in a situation like this, I think they've done a good job of focusing on themselves instead of the competition and, well, this guy did this, so I'm trying to one up them. You can't play that way. You know, you can't play against the other guy. You got to go do your best and focus on just your job, which can be tough in situations like this. And up to this point, I feel like they've done that. They've kind of been their own guys, and they've got, you know, different skill sets. But it's been fun to watch, you know, kind of them wrap their minds around our system and leading our guys. And they're certainly a lot more good than bad right now.
In your history of working with like an offensive line with a lot of new personnel, is there a consistency with the progression, like from the first month to the second month to the third, or do some offensive lines really gel super quick?
I would say there's a consistency with it now. You know, it does take time, but I would say what we've seen from our group up to this point has been very encouraging. I think we speculated that would probably be the case, but again, I think having Creed out this entire spring was so valuable for us. I mean, it made life a lot tougher for those guys, and honestly, it made it tougher for our quarterbacks too. And so now having him back, I think is, you know, kind of helped the consistency. It's helped the production. Players, you know, are more confident, not just because he's in there, because they've done it without him before. And so we've created some depth, some position flexibility, and starting to get some pretty nice continuity with that top group of guys.
So, like, I mean, is there a chance that they're close to a championship level right out of the gate, or do you think it really is a week by week get better?
It's hard, it's hard to evaluate. I mean, what is a championship level one? You know, I mean, I think championship level offensive lines, like any position, improve throughout the year. So, regardless of where you start at, you got to keep taking those steps, you know, because other people are going to get better and evolve too. So now, do I think we have the potential to play well early in the season? Absolutely, I do.
Lincoln, we've talked so much about kind of what all these draft picks on your offense mean to recruiting, but does it mean something internally to your program too? I mean, does it kind of set a culture of guys that even if they're not getting all the reps with the ones that they want, or if they don't win the starting job, that's not necessarily, you know, the path that Kyler Murray took, or other guys took?
No doubt, and we certainly don't hesitate to point that out. You know, if you give a guy more reps, or if a guy's not starting, I mean, obviously Kyler's a great example. You know, Marquise Brown, his first year here, so many guys get in their first year and think they're going to make some huge splash right off the top. Some do, some don't, but you know, people easily forget that first half of Marquise's first season, he didn't hardly play at all. I mean, he was strictly a role guy and a backup, if not a three. You know, we go play at Ohio State, and he didn't play one snap the entire game, second game of the year, and you know, and a year and a half later, he's the first receiver taken. You know, so I mean, there's a lot of examples. Cody Ford, you know, Cody Ford's another one. You know, some of his were injury related, but sparingly off and on his whole career, never a consistent starter, and then all of a sudden, you know, he's a first round talent. I mean, you know, so there are examples like that here, you know, and I think there's a trust that helps build trust within the players that maybe if it's not their time or they're not at the top of the depth chart they want right now, or maybe not getting all the opportunities that they want, that if they, like these other guys, stick to it, trust it, stay very positive, stay team first, that those opportunities will come.
Lincoln, Bob Stoops goes in the Hall of Fame, Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame on Monday.
Yep.
What's your favorite Bob Stoops story from your time around it?
Golly.
Hard to find one you can tell in public.
No, there's been a lot, man. We've had a lot of great times. Honestly, one of my favorite ones was we went fishing here in late spring, and the first day he and I were on the boat together, and a couple of the other guys that we went with were on the other boat, and I caught a couple of fish. You know, Bob hasn't fished much in his life ever, and he freely admitted, you know, it was kind of a new thing for him. So I catch a couple. The guys on the other boat catch a couple. Clark Stroud was on that boat, so we could hear how loud they were when he caught them, so we knew when he was catching them. We probably fished for about an hour, and Bob hasn't caught fish. So I can tell, you know, he's not always the most patient guy, you know, so I could tell he's kind of starting to get antsy back there. So all of a sudden, bam, his line hits. He reels one in. We're all pumped. You know, I'm hollering at him. Fish is in. Not 30 seconds later, we get the fish, put it on the stringer. We get going again. Bam, his line hits. Gets another one. He gets it in, and after an hour of being completely quiet, and I think probably bored and ready to leave, he's like, "Man, this fishing stuff's fun, huh?" And I'm like, yeah. You know, so it was. You just got to know him, but it was. There's a ton of great moments. It's and awesome. I know I've said it a ton, but just to still have him up here right now. Now he's up there today, you know, with us, seeing all the guys coming out to practices. I mean, his presence around here, of course, still means a great deal to all of us.
Lincoln, is kind of with the question I was asked earlier, but the wide receiver room, is it the deepest it's been here since you've been here?
Probably too early to say right now. I think it's got potential to be a very good room. I do think we have potential to have a lot of competition and a lot of depth. But a lot of these guys, you know, haven't done it yet. And so I'm always careful to anoint guys, but I do think we have a lot of ability, a good number of bodies in there. I think potentially be a very good room, but we've still got a long ways to go to get to where that room could be.
Did you watch your former quarterbacks last night, Lincoln?
What's that?
Did you watch your former quarterbacks? And then have you heard from either guy since they went to camp?
I didn't get a chance to watch Baker. I think by the time I got home, he was already done. I got to see some of the highlights from him. I did catch Kyler. You know, looked pretty easy, smooth, normal, except for the center not snapping it on the third down play and none of the other four linemen moving, which is a problem. Yeah, he did a great. I mean, he looked at ease. You know, moments never too big for that guy. Take your first snap in the NFL from the -2, you know, and it didn't bother him at all. So I talked to Kyler the night before. I talked to both of them weekly. So they're both excited about their different opportunities, and you know, and then honestly, I can't get many questions in because they're so interested on how our guys are doing.
But the play he made where he escapes, rolls, his feet aren't even on the ground. He throws the strike, but the kid had stepped out of bounds.
Yeah.
But I mean, that play is kind of why he was the first pick.
Oh, no question. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of NFL teams watching that this morning going, that's different. You know, and it is.
Lincoln, you talked about the sort of unproven nature of that receiver room, but one guy who has done it on the field, CD. What kind of progress have you seen from him from last year to this?
I thought he had a really good spring. You know, he was very active in the spring. His body's better. I think route running flexibility as far as being able to run more routes at a higher level is better. I think he's also improved after the catch quite a bit, and that was a big emphasis with him. I mean, he's been a good player after the catch for us last few years. I would not say he's been just elite at that, and that was something that we really worked hard on in the off season with him, and I think he's done a great job with it. So he's trying to lead, but yeah, I mean, I think we would all, certainly our expectations are that he'll make a big jump. He has not played his best ball.
He was telling us the other day that he wants you and he wants Coach Simmons to be harder on him, even with all he's accomplished. What does that speak to kind of his mentality? Does he kind of have that, that makeup that you look for a guy that wants to go from good to great?
Yeah, and he's going to get that whether he wants it or not. That's kind of our nature here. The oldest, best players here are going to get coached the hardest. And that's how it'll always be. And that's I think that's why we continue to improve. A lot of guys over the years. So we're going to keep doing that. But yeah, you appreciate a guy that wants to be coached, and the great ones do. If you want to be great, you cannot do that and not want to be coached hard. I mean, those things do not work together. So he certainly seems committed that way.
CD's a three-year guy. He's a veteran. He's in his third year. But you got a guy who's going to be a sixth year in that room. How much does Nick mean, not only to the wide receivers, but this team overall? And have you ever had a player that's going to turn 24 during the football season?
I've had a couple. We've had a couple of minor league baseball players. Had one at Tech when I was a receivers coach that was older than me. I think by like 2 or 3 years too. So, but no, Nick's meant a lot. He really has. He's it's fun to see him right now. He is healthy as he's ever been, and kind of the experience he's had, but the fresh legs that he had, Baker's junior year, when he really made a lot of big plays for us. So he's in a great place mentally. Brings a toughness and an edge, to our receiver room that you always need. And so certainly glad he got the 6th one, and I think he'll have a big impact on us.
Lincoln,
Last question.
Trey Norwood's status, but we noticed in our short time we could watch Ronnie Perkins look like limited maybe at the beginning of that practice, no pads, and also Kennedy Brooks. Did have those guys worked out since? And
they're good. Those are short term, mostly preventative deals. So I think Trey's the only thing serious right now.
Will Redmond scrimmage?
Don't want to get too far into that, but he's doing well.
Thanks for the time.
All right,
Thanks,
guys,
Lincoln.
you got it.
Appreciate it. Thanks.